This one is gonna be a good one. We hop into Basin. Roos versus Abbasid. Arguably the two most flexible, dynamic, and potent civs, not only in standard play, but quite possibly in Empire Wars. I definitely put Abbasid up there. So maybe Corvinus, he can surprise us all. Maybe he can beat DeMu here. He's gonna have to smash through the civ that he just smashed through DeMu with. And well, first thing on my mind was going to be the tech up choice. We're not getting any weird shenanigans from Corvinus. We're getting the culture wing. And this is very surprising, actually, because Basin is a really good map for trade. And with the Abbasid opening, you can build traders in Dark Age at minute 0. But Corvinus forgoes it. I think the real reason he does that is against the Roost, they can build knights, right? So they do have a blocker.
Yeah, I feel like part of this equation could be a fast castle here for Corvinus. And with the
Yeah.
culture wing coming in, he's going to have that discount. I don't know if a straight fast castle here is a good idea for Corvinus, but it definitely feels like that's the direction that he's heading. In fact, if we take a look at his gold mining operations, I think that's a pretty clear indicator that he wants to go into castle straight away.
So he should have, what, 6 workers out there? Because I think you start with 6 on the gold, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, his gold is pretty far away, so he didn't send additional workers, but you don't need to. If you just keep this pace of like 5 or 6, that should be enough to get you there, like good timings. But by going for a 6, I think he should accelerate to get the tech up like back to back. My question is like, what's his goal when he gets there? Is this going to be a Camel Rider play? Is this going to be a Golem play? Because if you go Golems, you are still up against Feudal Roost Knights, which can kind of bat you away. Camel Riders, however, kind of feel unanswered.
Yeah, I would love a straight camel rider here play here by Corvinus. You think about that, how does the Roost counter camel riders? Probably just spearmen, right? But in the long run, Abbasids would love to play into archers. So if you force your opponent to go into spearmen, your natural counter to that is going to be your favorite unit with this civilization. I feel like that's a very good mindset for Corvinus to have.
Absolutely. And there's the tech up coming through. And this is why I said you stop at like 6 on gold, right? It's like he doesn't have 600 gold yet. Yeah, but he doesn't have enough food yet, right? And you only need 450 once you get POC. In fact, weirdly enough, Corvinus hasn't queued up Preservation of Knowledge yet. Yeah, that was like, what, good 10, 12 seconds? That's, actually, it sounds like it's nitpicky, but that's quite a big inefficiency in this build. Because you have to remember, Empire Wars accelerates the early game. So, like, in a normal game, that's 12 seconds. In Empire Wars, it feels more like 20, 25.
Yeah, that's a big thing. If you are relying on a very timing sensitive build, then those little deficiencies can screw over your entire build. You see, DeMu is playing into the second TC though, so I feel like if Corvinus wants to pull this Camel Rider play off, he's going to be given an opportunity to do so. And would you look at that, a sneaky stable coming up here will be scouted by DeMu. Critical piece of information acquired here by DeMu.
Yeah, this feels like a Lancer play. Like, if it was back at home, I would say Camels, but the full proxy base, man. Honestly, just stay here. Wait and see if he builds the racks as well. It's like, hello, what are you, what are you doing here, kind sir? In fact, like, I think if you left the 2 scouts here and started torching down the racks, you could bring it close to like Crisp, right? But instead, DeMu's going to pull away, bring the sheep home. Should be prepping a counter to this. So, like, Spearmen plus Archers seems quite logical for the Roost here. You could even, like, pull your gold workers a little bit north and drop a Wooden Fortress there.
Yeah, I feel like part of this proxy base and part of the reason why Corvinus was able to at least start building this before getting detected is that DeMu was busy looking for the deer and getting the bounty, right, with the Rus. In a random map game, that would happen in Dark Age, so you wouldn't really have this window to build a proxy base. But here,
Yeah.
this was happening as Corvinus was aging up the Feudal Age, and as Corvinus was sending out the villager, so that by the time DeMu was done collecting the deer, a stable was already halfway built.
Okay, I think DeMu is going to go Horse Archers here. This seems like a Horse Archer play. He's rushing Castle Age himself. If he double scouts that, he'll see that it's additional Raxes, so it's likely Golems or Spearmen. Either way, Horse Archers is pretty damn good at just kiting that out. So, like, this is a dicey one. Also, the fact that he's got stables, like, suggests Lancers. If he decides to add in, like, additional Camels, like, both those things take a long time to produce. So, it's not a fast-scaling army. Even Golems aren't the fastest producing unit, right? So, like, now that it's been scouted out, it's very hard to get the appropriate damage done in time. And that is going to be that triple archery range drop. So, yeah, expect to see a spamming of cavalry in the coming minutes.
Yeah, the big thing here for Corvinus is that his base is wide open. So if DeMu is allowed to start roaming the map with some of those horse archers, Corvinus is going to struggle quite badly to keep track of them and just keep his eco intact.
Yeah, and Corvinus has gone for a secondary TC, so he's going to have an extra protection point. He done it delayed compared to DeMu, so DeMu has an eco advantage. These scouts just trying to waste a bit of time, stop those defenses going up, because that's like a decent answer to horse archers, right? They are a fleshy unit. They don't have any protection against Arafar, but you're going to need someone to garrison inside that. And if you built this proxy base to just sit here on it, it's not a good value proposition for proxy play.
Yeah, the big thing with the proxy bases, and that applies to essentially all RTSs, you build them at the front, you need to get value out of them because you have absolutely no production buildings back at home to help you make defensive units.
Lance comes in, that's going to be first blood on the villagers, but the gremlins are coming, and I believe he waited until Castle Age kicked in, so they should have decent damage up against that Lancer. So just kind of delaying this, waiting for those first... Oh, it's not even going to be horse archers, actually. DeMu decides, okay, horse archers, if I had to go further, makes more sense, but you're in my base, it's only heavily armored units. Let's just get crossbows.
Yep, he's going to clean this up rather quickly. Lost 2 villagers, but nothing catastrophic. Especially given that that high trade house is beautifully positioned. It's a very good one for the map.
Yeah, it's reaching around the time, like an extra 20 seconds, we can check what the gain's going to be on that, as it should have ticked all in. I think there's maybe one more tick. Actually, crossbow count. Yeah, I think there's maybe one more tick to come in a few seconds. But these crossbows, I mean, I wouldn't even mind him like just dropping a blacksmith and getting a single ram to clean this up. Because I don't think you want to add in a new unit type yet. Like, everything is being countered right now by your one unit type. So what you want to do is force Corvinus to transition first.
Yeah, battering ram could make a lot of sense here. DeMu needs to clean that forward base up, because if he doesn't, he's just going to get raided over and over again. He needs to reset this aggression from Corvinus, and cleaning that forward base up is where it starts.
Check that high trade house. I'm curious if we got one more tick, because like the gold's going to be very important in this game because he's kind of gold blocked, right, by these raids. It's very difficult to remain on them. Yeah, so 195 is the final trickle. He is going to be able to pick up these relics, by the way, because another issue of what Corvinus has done here is all of his army is already in DeMu's base, which means there's no army in the mid-map. So it's just free relic hoovering.
Yeah, Corvinus does have those camel riders. He didn't use them for the initial attack, which made that initial attack so much more weak. But now, DeMu is just going full crossbows here. Not a single unit that kind of responds to that from Corvinus. In fact, he's still just making new Gulam.
No, now he's playing for relics as well. I think he's scouted out DeMu doing this. He wants to beat him to the punchline. The Warrior Monks take longer to produce, right? So it can work, but you're not going to get the majority of relics, right? Like, maybe you get free maximum, which technically is a majority. This isn't like a, haha, you made this play, now you can't get anything type game. The Mangonel now being built up. I think that's being built in the proxy base here, and right now, DeMu is reluctant to come out, so he's going to get ambushed by this. He's also going into Raxes, which is kind of problematic. You're not going to have the Siege Workshop to get the Springle counter in. You're also still hemorrhaging on the flanks.
Yeah, this is a nice raid here by Corvinus. As you said, DeMu's not even responding to this. This is catastrophic.
He just got surrounded. They're all dead. They're actually all dead there. That's such a big deal. Yep, finally reacts when he's lost double digits, but that's too late, my friend. Now 4 villages behind. Remember, this is 2TC versus 2TC, so now you're stuck behind.
Yeah, DeMu focused so much on the defense to the north against the units coming out of that proxy base that he didn't even realize he was pushed from the south. Lost a bunch of villagers there, and now, this is as good as it gets for Corvinus. 2TC versus 2TC has the villager lead of 4, and he's also the player with the second relic already on the way home.
Yeah, and I love this other detail from Corvinus. Adding in the ram is really cool here. Mangonels could siege the buildings, but the ram's going to shut your opponent out. I love the idea of the ram going after that monastery, by the way, because DeMu should, in theory, get 2 relics at least still. And if you just obliterate that building, that extra gold trickle's gone. Also, you're going to be in the area where he's able to access gold. You're all of a sudden looking at a game where DeMu doesn't have any true gold access to scale these crossbows.
Oh, DeMu doesn't have mobility.
This berry bush is his bane, dude. I honestly, I would just gather sheep at this stage. I feel like every time he goes out here, he gets punished.
Mangonel getting a beautiful hit.
Oh. Yeah, and he can't breach the choke point quick enough. He's going to lose like half the crossbows here. DeMu.
Ooh.
I mean, he starts one group back, but the other one just stands firm and says, bolt counter rock? No, DeMu, no, they don't.
DeMu still has the raw numbers advantage, but the fights that he's been taking recently were anything but effective. A lot of crossbows lost in this fight. Another volley is going to come out here. A lot of villagers lost previously. I think given the circumstances, this is the best that Corvinus could have asked for.
Absolutely. I mean, this Mango's still standing. He has no real melee to take it down now, right? 1 or 2 crossbows to deal with any spears coming in. Like, the proxy base has been cleaned up. Do not be deceived by the military count, right? It's not that big of a lead for DeMu. A decent chunk of that is militia. Most of the proxy, if not all of it, should eventually get cleaned up. But behind this, Corvinus is hoovered up 2, soon to be 3 relics. He's capturing sacred sites, and his economy has been completely unharassed. Meanwhile, look at DeMu's. Look at that food gathering.
It's just bad right now when you look at the overall eco for DeMu especially. Market is now up. He's going to try to balance that eco a little. And for Corvinus, you see now he's switching very heavily into the archers. This is exactly what he wanted in the long run. Go for these archers with the boot camp and composite bows. A direct counter to everything that DeMu has right now.
Yeah, that's a dicey one right now for DeMu. And he won't get the info ahead of time, right? It's going to get the double whammy effect, not just because it counters the crossbows and spears, because you get the double damage against those spears. So I really would like DeMu to maybe just use one of his hunting cameras to produce a scout, kind of sniff out what's happening in the map. Because if we check his vision, we'll see that he's been so busy dealing with this play, he has no clue what's coming next.
Yeah, DeMu doesn't have a single scout to work with, so he's just deprived of vision very badly. Also, he's now struggling for food. The berries are depleted, and Corvinus, with the line of sight of these production buildings, he sees clearly how desperate DeMu is for food here, sending out, like, what, 20 or so villagers just to take that hunt?
Yeah.
That's probably the primary point of aggression for Corvinus.
There we go. I was about to say, this is a wallable area, though. Like, actually, he could have just made that a pocket wall and fully contained it, but instead he's just going to like push it down towards the Kremlin. So any attempt by Corvinus to raid is going to shove him in. And, you know, it's a bit gambly to say, okay, Corvinus is definitely not building cavalry, but the logic for DeMu is he hasn't seen additional cavalry units show up. So likely it's a melee comp, especially considering he knows that it's military wing, right? So, a militia, not melee comp, infantry comp. So that means flanking is very difficult when there's these walls. Likely DeMu has a central fight ahead of him, one that he has a clear dominant lead in when you look at the population.
He does have the army lead. He also has 2 battering rams to work with, so he could punish Corvinus here if Corvinus isn't cautious. Archer numbers are rising for Corvinus. Composite bows just now finishing, though. And once again, the Gulam are here for these villagers, supported by some scouts.
Not this time, LidaKor. Yep. Not today, Mr. Bird. He'll be able to pull away. So the Gulam's going to idle this out a little bit at least, but at least it's not villagers dying. I mean, he's already 12 villagers down in this game total. You can't afford more deaths.
Yeah, that would just be catastrophic. It's not just the 12 villagers, but also the fact that he's down by a relic, he's down by a sacred site. Those things pile up now. And I'm afraid of this army, KP, because I feel like this is just way too tiny to face off against 18 composite bow archers, especially if the Gulam are also out there to support them.
I mean, that detail surprises me, by the way. Like, the Rams being built at home for Corvinus is kind of weird. Isn't really needed. I think a Mangonel extra here would be the game breaker. Because DeMu, when you commit to Rams in this type of position, like, you are kind of static in the fight, right? Like, you are assuming you're going to kill 4 or 5 buildings and sit here for a while. But, as you highlighted, Corvinus' army is decent for shoving back against this. And DeMu is now only adding in men-at-arms from the other side of the map.
Yeah, it's going to take so much time for these reinforcements to arrive for DeMu. And now army numbers are essentially neck and neck. Let's see.
Is this a tech up? I think this is a... Oh, wow, this is crazy. DeMu is just wasting his time here. Yeah, so he's going to dive into the base. He's going to kill whatever eco he can, which he's already getting insane value from, by the way. And this is going to draw attention. But look at DeMu's economy. This is wholly just to bait Corvinus into defending, or he techs up at home.
But wait a second. Corvinus doesn't want to... He doesn't want to defend. I think he might have sensed what's coming up over here, seeing that this could just be a bait And he's actually going to launch a counterattack. This could be catastrophic for DeMu.
DeMu, he hasn't started building the landmark yet. Now he doesn't have enough gold anymore. He realizes the mistake he's made here. Instead, now he has to double down on military production, so more crossbows and men-at-arms coming. Now he has got a decent amount of MAA to hold here, so this shouldn't kill him. But it's going to make him uncomfortable. It's going to delay that timing slightly. Keep in mind, though, on the other side, Corvinus has still been stung by that raid. DeMu still has units in the economy of the Abbasids.
And Corvinus has 30+ idols for the last 30 seconds. A lot of idols now. This needs to work for Corvinus.
4 Rams should be able to deal with that Kremlin. The Kremlin's just creating this annoying choke point. Even if it goes down, it will remain, though. And that's why DeMu is holding just enough men-at-arms to hold between the trees and his landmark. And that's why he can now sneak off into a secret corner and build that high armory, while Corvinus gets stalemated here. Oh, man, he gets the
Most of the
Mangonels.
crossbows got
Come on.
picked off by the Mangonels, though. DeMu's army is just evaporating over here. High Armory might finish, but what is going to be left out of this army to hold the base with?
The thing is, this is not a game-killing, like, a game-winning army, right, from Corvinus. Like, he might be able to do some eco damage, but it's just archers and a few rams now, so it can be a bit annoying, but DeMu still has production for men-at-arms, right? So it's a dicey situation. It was a good snipe by the Mangonel. He did already use the Gremlins, but unless Corvinus can kill, like, 15 villagers here, this Imperial Age is justified.
Well, he might have a window to kill 15 KP. It's not like DeMu has much to defend with here back at home.
That's true. I'm waiting. Okay, so he's going for a Bombard as an opening here. Interesting. I mean, he could just build a Mangonel, right? Like, right now, just one Mangonel. But
This
Corvinus
is such a chaotic game.
Dude, he's still raiding. These crossbows have been... They ran a lap, by the way. They went into the back line of the TC. They came back out the other side. They ran across the mid-map. Now they're into the wood line. And honestly, they're doing the Tour de France right now. And they're living life to the fullest. These crossbows should finally be chased down. But there's no denying they got some damage in. They kept a decent amount of the army away. And sure, Corvinus did get rid of the front of DeMu's base. But he's now still a whole age behind and nowhere near ready for a tech up himself.
Yeah, he also had a lot of TC idle time, I feel. Now he's down by 15 villagers. And that's not through villager kills for DeMu. Most of that was just idle time on the eco of Corvinus. Also, he's running out of berries to work with. Looks like this push is also stalling out. And, you know, as good as this push looked like for Corvinus, it's kind of losing momentum. I guess the silver lining is that his army numbers are still a lot better than what DeMu has.
For how long, right? The premium units are now coming in. The upgrades are also kicking in. So Corvinus needs to make him pay. Houses on the front side, that's one way to start it. Risk of actually being housed at this pace, because that is going to be 4 and an additional 2 rams on the way. So Corvinus isn't playing for long term. He's playing for 2 minutes from now. Either I'm dead or you are.
I don't blame him for that, though. I feel like here, catching up to Imperial is going to be a difficult or a near impossible task, but he sees that DeMu has basically no army to work with. And he sees that there's a window of opportunity over here. Now he's got 5 battering rams knocking down those buildings, make it 6, soon to be 7. And I don't know if DeMu can hold this.
DeMu, I mean, if you're going to hold it, you need more troops right now, and he hasn't got the population anymore. Bombards are going to start sniping out targets here. Primary TC does have 7k HP. It does not die fast. Corvid, still reluctant to die, but now we're going to move in. This is going to be the keep drop to stabilize the area. Village is being pulled by DeMu to try and keep the primary up. The chase is on. Still needs additional numbers here. He needs about 20 men at arms before he's confident to push out. And DeMu finally agrees. The Mangonels is the play. 3 are on the way. They could be the backbreaker, but they need to get in position fast.
Villagers just running through here.
What? Where? There's too many Mangonels. They're just going to die.
Oh my lord, KP. One Mangonel goes down, but all the villagers getting massacred. I don't know about this. I'm perplexed. I thought these guys were here to build a keep, but it looks like that's the second wave that's destined to do that.
They passed the hammers over. My child, build what I cannot. It pushes him far enough away, though. That's a lot of villagers. DeMu, he's still got 3 Mangonels. If he moves up now, he could delete this. But he needs to move immediately. Shuffle in. Ah, this is too late. It's chalked. It's up. There's no way he can stop that now. But he has got Bombards, right? That's the problem for Child here. These Bombards for now are anti-siege, but They really need to address this keep.
It's a landmark snipe now, KP. You see Corvinus desperate to try and take down the third landmark over here. The fourth one, the high armor, is well defended though to the north. I don't think Corvinus can reach that, but he will certainly try.
Yeah, the only way this works now is if he kills the economy instead, because like behind this, DeMu's still getting what he needs. He's getting wood and gold. That's all he needs right now, right? He's going up to 4 bombards. He has 4 mangonels. Corvinus cannot answer with springles. He cannot answer with siege of his own, and he doesn't have any cavalry at all. I think this is over.
This is looking so grim. Frankly, if Corvinus didn't just suicide rush him with a bunch of villagers, this may have worked.
Yeah.
He did so much eco damage. He killed so many vills, he could have dragged this game out.
No, but the reason he done that is because he needed to push the bombard away. Because if he built the keep in the face of the bombard, it just dies. And now he's going to die anyway. He says, the bastards, they're cheap anyway. Let's throw them away. It's an absolute mosh pit as he dives onto the siege. A few of them are going to be accessed here. Everyone is on the dance floor. But the bombards still stand. Yes, the mangonels are gone. But Corvinus, I mean, this is everything. His military, there's 5 left. He's got no economy. Even if he kills DeMu's, he's got nothing left.
Oh my lord, KP. This push so relentless, and really the definition of an all-in here from Corvinus. But with the Rams cleaned up, with the villagers cleaned up, Corvinus reduced to 20 population. As you said, it is over. But boy, oh boy, did Corvinus try to pull off a landmark snipe here. What a spectacular ending to this best of 5. Corvinus pushing DeMu to the limits, ultimately falling 3-2.
DeMu might have given him a spanking in the end, but I'll tell you what, the person will be remembered in this series as Corvinus. He might die, but he dies with style.